All right, guys, this is going to be a quick lesson on something called the fundamental counting principle. It's going to kind of help us do a little bit of a shortcut when trying to list out large events that might be happening. So for example, if I said, hey, let's make a listing of all the possibilities for flipping a coin 5 times, you'd say, Miss, that's crazy. We're going to have way too many options. It's going to look way too crazy. So I'm going to show you guys a quick little almost formula we can use to kind of condense that and make it a little bit shorter for us, okay? So just to kind of put at the top the reason why we're doing this for listing, whenever we have large listings, like the example I said was flipping a coin 5 times and all the different possibilities we can get, we're going to be running into a little bit of issues because there's just way too many options that we can have. So large listings cause issues because if we were to, like, say, flip a coin or flipping a coin 5 times, you'd say, okay, well, my first one, let's say I got all heads. Head, 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 head. My next one, I got head, 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 tails, so on and so forth. The possibilities are going to be endless. Not endless, there's going to be a lot. It's going to take way too much time to go ahead and list them all out, okay? On and on and on, et cetera, okay? So our fundamental counting principle tells us, okay, if there are X amount of ways for an event to happen, so X just being some number, right? So if there are X amount of ways for an event, when I say an event, that means like flipping a coin or rolling a die, just something that has different possible outcomes, okay? And let's say Y ways, so Y again is just another number, and another amount of ways for a second event, then there's a total, or then there are X times Y total ways for both to occur. So let's just jot that down in our notes, make sure you guys get that down, okay? And we'll look at some examples down here to kind of clarify what I mean by all that, okay? So example 1 says the club restaurant offers 6 appetizers and 14 main courses. What is the sample space if a person orders 1 appetizer and 1 main course? Okay, well, if I have 6 appetizers, right, there's 6 possible ways for my first event. So my first event, or what I'd be choosing from, is 6 appetizers. And then Y ways for my second event. My second event, or what I'm choosing from, is the 14 main courses. Then there's a total of X times Y ways for both to occur. So that means I'm just going to multiply my 6 times my 14. So 6 times 14, and that's going to give me 84 possible different combinations to have. So if a person orders 1 appetizer and 1 main course, we have 84 different possible combinations there, okay? So it's easy math, right? You're technically just going to multiply those 2 numbers. Every single time, you're not just going to take those numbers and multiply them, though. You're going to see in some of these examples here, it's going to look a little different, okay? So for example 2, if a coin is flipped, a dice is rolled, and a card is picked, what is the sample space for these events? Okay, so now I actually have 3 events going on. I have my coin flipped, I have a dice rolled, and a card picked. Well, what are my 2 possible outcomes for flipping a coin? It's just heads or tails, right? So that'll just be 2. I have 2 possible outcomes, right? A dice rolled, so a 6-sided die, that's 6 possible outcomes. And then a card is picked, a card out of a deck, that's 52 cards. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just multiply each possible number of outcomes, right? So 2 times 6 times 52, that's going to give me a total of 624, okay? Now this is where it's going to get a little tricky, okay? And it's going to be a little different. So the pass lock on an iPad requires a 4-digit password. What is the sample space for all 4-digit passcodes, or all 4-digit possible combinations, okay? So 4-digit password, so I'm going to have, right, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's typically what would pop up on your iPad, right, or your phone, maybe, if you had a 4-digit passcode there. And the possible number combinations for each one is what we have to be considering. So I would have 0 through 9, right? You can't actually have the number 10 in one of those spots there. So 0 through 9 is 10 possible combinations, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that means I can have 10 possible options for my first number in my passcode. I can have 10 possible options for the second number in my passcode, I can have 10 possible options for the third number in my passcode, and I can have 10 possible options for the fourth number in my passcode. And you're going to do is just multiply 10 times itself 4 times, and it's going to give you a huge number. It's going to give you 10,000. That means there's 10,000 possible options for what your passcode could be. Okay, so just be careful with those ones that are talking about passcodes, something like that. Okay. Now, example 4, it says Jeff has 5 t-shirts, 3 pants, and 4 pairs of shoes. What is the sample space for all possible outfits? So if he's choosing between 5 shirts, 3 pants, and 4 pairs of shoes, you got it. We're just going to go ahead and multiply 5 times 3 times 4, and that should give us 60 possible outfit combinations. Okay. Now, picking 2 cards from a deck with replacement. So all the with replacement means is, okay, I'm going to pick my first card out of my deck, right? So meaning I'd have 51 cards left once I take out that one card. Replacement means I'm going to put it back into the deck before I pick my second card, okay? So I'm picking out my first card. I have 52 cards I can be choosing from, okay? If I'm putting it back in, that means when I pick my second card, I have another 52 cards that I'll be choosing from, okay? So I'm going to have 52 times 52, which is going to give me 2,704 possible combinations I can have when picking 2 cards out of my deck and replacing that first card. Okay. All right, and your last example for your notes, guys, rolling a D20. So D20 is just a 20-sided die, and then spinning a 4-color spinner. So you have 20 possible options for that 20-sided die, and then you have 4 options for your 4-color spinner. So 20 times 4 would give you 80 possible combinations.